All right, good morning. We're going to call the parole board to order. Today is 7/24/24. With headquarters staff, please introduce yourself.
Jason Thompson, Sherelle Baker, Parole Williams,
Francis Abbott.
Today we will have our first hearing at Grant Parish. Would anyone from Grant Parish staff please introduce yourself?
I'm Lieutenant Lamar St. Andrew. I work here for Grant Parish Sheriff's Office.
Okay, thank you. Would the two visitors there introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Debbie Weatherford. I actually work for DOC headquarters, but
Okay.
I note to Grant Parish, I'm a transition specialist at Grant Detention Center.
Okay, and sir?
Pastor Kenneth Hyde. I do prison ministry here at the jail in Colfax.
Okay, thank y'all. Thank y'all for being present. Okay, would you state your name and DOC number, please?
NEAL SPENCER, DOC number 300641.
Okay. Mr. Spencer, I'm gonna read some preliminary information. Please stop me if I say anything incorrectly, okay?
Yes, sir.
You were convicted of second-degree murder, given a life sentence. You had a commutation hearing, and your sentence was commuted to 99 years. Your out dates are your parole date is 11/16/2023. Your adjusted good time date is 12/10/2039. Your full term date is 6/4/2009. First, we're going to get a statement from you, and then we'll get statements for those that are in favor, and then those that are opposed. Is all the information I read to you correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Introduce yourself. Tell us why should we consider paroling you today, and tell us about the offense. What happened?
My name is NEAL Spencer, and like you stated, in 1991, I was convicted of a second-degree murder. I take full responsibility of taking the life of McQueen Walker. I'm very sorry for what happened, very remorseful for what happened. It was just an incident where I was addicted to crack cocaine. I quit my last job about 2 weeks before. I went to pick up my last check. I spent it all on drugs. My idea was to maybe use half of it for my own recreational use. Mr. McQueen, at that time, I gave him the rest of the crack cocaine to hold for me. And after I used the portion that I kept for myself, I went back to Mr. McQueen and told him to give me the other half that I wanted. And it ended up into a verbal argument, and then it ended up to a physical fight. And he began to kind of get the best of me. So I pulled out my knife and I began to stab him until he cut me loose. That's what happened. That's what happened at that time. I pled guilty to a life sentence. I've been in Angola for about 33 years. Since I've been in Angola, my first beginning half of it was kind of a rough part of it. I kind of was doing pretty much the same thing I'd been doing since I was on the streets, except minus the drugs. When I got incarcerated, when in the parish jail, I stopped using drugs cold. I didn't need it anymore. But I would be a drug addict until the day I died. I understand that I'm a new creature in Christ, but any trigger could put me back into the same position I was back then. So since I've been incarcerated, I've gained my GED. I've given my life to Christ. I begin to place myself around positive people, Christians. I went through drug programs that's been offered to me at Angola as well as here at Grant Parish. I've pretty much done a lot of the certificate programs while I was at Angola, Louisiana. I'm still doing programs now here at Grant. I fought hard to try to better myself and make a better person and a better man out of myself. I think I've gained that, and you know, I feel so much better now, being able to move around and not be known as a drug addict, as a crackhead or anything like that. But I think I deserve another opportunity in society, and I pray that the board could come to that decision as well.
Okay, thank you. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Prater. Mr. Prater, you have any questions for him?
I was waiting to kind of maybe hear the.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Let's go. We're gonna go to the those in support first. Mr. Kerry Myers with the Parole Project.
Good morning, board. My name is Kerry Myers with the Louisiana Parole Project. We're here to support Mr. Spencer. Should this board grant him parole today, and we ask that they do. Mr. Spencer has a long record of rehabilitation. It's what impresses us. Not only that, his character is, this program, as this board knows, is a voluntary program, and Mr. Spencer is the type of person that we know will take full advantage of the things that we offer. His programming while he was incarcerated, his disciplinary record, the fact that he's earned not only his GED, but degrees in Christian ministry. He's volunteered to be a missionary, giving back, doing service for others. We just believe that the things that we can offer him in support, once he is released, will ensure that he has the best chance at success, and we fully believe in his success. He also is in the process of his ICOTS to Texas once he completes Parole Project. So we just ask this board to consider all those factors today and grant his release.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Myers. Mr. Devin Castile, cousin. Okay, Devin, tell us, you're on mute, Devin.
My name is Devin Castile. I'm the cousin of Neal Spencer. As Neal stated, approximately 30-something years ago, me and Neal began the life of addiction, both with the same drug of choice, crack cocaine. Unfortunately, Neal had to go to prison for 34 years, and my addiction led me to a lot more. I've been shot twice in the head. I've been shot twice in the chest. I've been to prison approximately 5 times. Fortunately, 7 years ago, I got introduced to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I have approximately 7 years sober. I went back to school. I got me a bachelor's degree. I'm currently in a master's degree program, and I'm the program director at the Serenity Treatment Center of Louisiana. I know that if I can change my life and I can contribute more to society, I know that Neil can also. Throughout these 30-something years when I was out there, I would often talk to Neil on the phone, and he would be my sounding board. And I would wonder how such a person that's in prison for life can encourage a person who's on the streets that's dying. Neil has been an important part of my recovery. He's been an important part of my life, and I think that he can contribute to society. I ask that the board show compassion and have mercy and grace on Neil and grant him parole. Thank you all for letting me talk.
Okay, thank you for participating. We also had Brent Swallow, a cousin, in support, but he wishes not to speak. And Tori Castile, cousin, also in support and does not want to speak. In opposition, we have Miss Robin Walker, victims of family. Miss Walker. Okay, Deborah Walker. I'm gonna let you go first, Miss Walker.
Right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good morning. I had brought up with a letter. I want to read it.
Yes, ma'am.
Parts of it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the board. I'm writing this letter in behalf of my son, McQuinn Walker, who was a victim of a horrible, horrible crime. On June 6, 1991, my son McQuinn was brutally murdered with no mercy by NEAL SPENCER. McQuinn was 15 years old at the time he was murdered, and NEAL SPENCER was 22 years old. Mr. Spencer murdered my son in our own home. Early that morning, I came home and found my child full of blood, laying on the living room floor. Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
All I could do was cry with a loud scream, "Oh God, oh God." All that within me was a cry of anguish. And now, parole vote on March 14th, 2022, there was a clemency hearing for NEAL SPENCER. It was like burying my child all over again. So much anguish as I say, "Oh God." And now this is what McQuinn's identical twin brother has to say to the board. Can you read it, Robin? Thank y'all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Robin Walker is gonna be taking her place to read the rest of the letter and give his statement. Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Says, to whom it may concern, and with all due respect to the Louisiana Parole Board, I attended the Zoom call in regard to the clemency of NEAL SPENCER, the one who murdered my brother in our home, June 6. We were young, we was also in the street life, but nothing warranted a brutal murder. At the parole board, Neil was asked what happened on a crime that night. And he lied. There's no way that somebody would owe him some money to that point. Honestly, I can understand somebody wanting to get out of prison. But I mean, if you change, be all the way changed. Just be honest with everything that was going on. That's all I really got to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walker. Okay, we have been joined by Sheriff McCain. Sheriff McCain, do you wish to give a statement? Ma'am?
I do. As a parent, I can't imagine what the family went through. I didn't know NEAL SPENCER then, 30 years ago, but I've had the opportunity to get to know him the last couple of years. The first thing that caught my attention about Neil when I interviewed him in Angola was that he did not blame anybody for what had happened in the past. He took full responsibility and was very forthcoming about his actions and the pain that he had caused to the family of the victim. And he has continued to do that. He's an inmate pastor here at the Grant Parish Detention Center, but he also has been involved with the elementary schools and the high schools throughout Grant Parish over the last few years, talking to children about consequences and about the realities of making terrible decisions and where that takes you in life. He's also spoken, he's gone with me and spoken at a number of churches throughout Grant Parish, and just as recently as this past Sunday. And never, he starts every conversation with the reason that he's in jail, and the terrible things that led him to prison and the family that he hurt so bad. I truly believe that NEAL Spencer is not a threat to society if you were to make this decision today. And I will tell you that in 12 years as the sheriff of Grant Parish, this is only the second time that I've spoken in support of someone.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Next we'll have Miss Pamela Pruge from the 31st District Attorney.
I'm Pam Pruge. I'm the Victims Assistance Coordinator with the 31st Judicial District Attorney's Office. It is the position of our office that Mr. Spencer's request for parole should be denied. And we believe that with additional insight into the particulars of this matter, you will agree with our position. I want you to consider many of the relevant factors that a sentencing judge should evaluate when deciding what is appropriate term of imprisonment for a specific defendant, and to consider such a decision making in the process. During the early morning hours of June 6, 1991, NEAL Spencer looked over at his friend and said, "Man, I feel like crying." His depraved state of mind and debased value of human life led to the senseless and extremely brutal murder of his victim, McQuinn Walker. It is quite important to note that McQuinn Walker was only 15 years old at the time he was killed. NEAL Spencer invaded the victim's home and stabbed him repeatedly. In fact, he stabbed his victim so many times that NEAL Spencer himself lost count. NEAL Spencer slaughtered the victim in the victim's own home and left his blood-covered body there for his mother to find. The assistant district attorneys who were working for the office at the time this crime occurred stated that this was a case that stays in their mind as one of the most gruesome crime scenes they've ever seen. NEAL Spencer, as a part of the plea bargaining process, subsequently entered a guilty plea to the offense of second-degree murder and agreed to accept a sentence of life in prison without parole. We ask that you consider the following aggravated factors associated with this murder. A commutation of NEAL Spencer's current life sentence without parole to one of 99 years with parole eligibility deprecated the seriousness of the defendant's crime. The heinous nature of this murder and manner in which Mr. Spencer killed Mr. Walker warrants a sentence of life. Mr. Spencer's required compliance with the prison rules and regulations is grossly outweighed by the seriousness of his crime. Nothing that NEAL Spencer has said or did since his barbaric act has changed the facts. NEAL Spencer's conduct during the commission of this murder manifested deliberate cruelty towards his victim. NEAL Spencer knew or should have known that his victim, McQuinn Walker, was particularly vulnerable given his tender age of 15 years old and status as a minor. NEAL Spencer used extreme, unmerciful violence during the commission of his crime against Mr. Walker. NEAL Spencer used a dangerous weapon in the commission of his crime against the victim, McQuinn Walker. There's no one item of any evidence of any grounds which would have excused or otherwise justified NEAL Spencer's cold-blooded, ruthless, and wanton murder of Mr. Walker. Violent crimes and murders have been on the rise in the United States during the recent years. Louisiana's homicide rates at the same time have been either at or near the top of the crime statistics. The reason why we have prisons is to protect our society from people like NEAL SPENCER. Mr. Spencer's presentation to the board was that his deeds over the past 30 years have outweighed the bad. However, what the mother of McMinn Walker heard is that his deeds outweigh the life of her deceased son. While Mr. Spencer has been allowed to live the past 30 years of his life, it's been different from Ms. Walker's son. He was taken away from her at age 50. The family of McMinn Walker desires justice. And the justice means that NEAL SPENCER truly take responsibility for his horrendous criminal act and serve the entire sentence. After careful consideration, the district attorney's office sides with the family and opposes the granting of parole of NEAL SPENCER. We hope that you adopt this position at will, and thank you for your consideration. We also request, should you grant the parole, that Mr. Spencer have to relocate outside the parish of Davis. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now we'll go to Mr. Prater. Mr. Prater?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Neil. Nice to see you and everybody that's involved in this here. And this is a especially difficult one because it appears that you are remorseful. It appears that you've done the things that we would expect while incarcerated. So I just have a couple of things to ask you. I was curious, what was he doing with your cocaine again?
I gave him half of it just to hold for me until, if I needed it again, I would be able to go in and get it from him. I was a drug user, and I didn't want to use all the drugs up. And I felt if I would have kept it on my person at the same, all of it at the same time, I would end up using it all up in one time.
Okay, was he a drug user himself? I know you don't want to disparage him because of the situation, but was he involved in drugs also?
I don't believe he was a drug user, not to my knowledge. That's why I had gave it to him to hold for me, because I know he wouldn't use it, but I would.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions that I have.
Okay, Ms. Renatson?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Spencer, I mean, what led to the fight? He wouldn't give you your cocaine back, or what made you get violent like that? I mean, it was a very brutal murder.
Yes, sir. We ended up having a argument about giving me the drugs back. He said he wasn't giving it back to me. So we just kind of argued about that for a little while, and we started to get physical. He wanted me to leave, and I said I was trying to tell him to just give me my drugs back so I can go. And then we ended up getting into a fist fight, and I pulled out my knife and stabbed him repeatedly until because he began to get the best of me.
Okay, so the 15-year-old was beating up the 22-year-old. What'd you tell him?
Kind of the way, yes, sir. I was addicted to drugs. I wasn't as big as I was now.
Okay, I understand. Just a question. Okay, I have no further questions. Is the panel ready to vote?
I'd like to move for an executive session.
I'll second.
Okay, we've had a motion for an executive session by Mr. Prater, second by Ms. Renatson. Please call the roll.
Sharon Renatson,
Yes.
Steve Freeman,
Yes.
Yes.
Steve Prater,
Yes.
That's okay. Just being here is enough. They know that if I wasn't here.
Okay, we're back in session now from executive session. Two quick questions. You put in for ICOTS to Texas. Has that been approved?
It has not been turned in yet. We have to wait for the board's approval or deny to turn it in, but it will be expedited upon turning it in.
Okay, Mr. Prater, are we ready to vote now?
Yes, sir. Do we, as a point of order, do we need to vote back in from executive session?
Do we need to call the board back to order? Yeah, let's call the board back to order, please. 9:36.
Cheryl Renato,
Muted, Cheryl.
Sorry, yes.
Pete Freeman,
Yes.
Steve Prater.
Yes.
Okay, now is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Prater, you first, because the case was assigned to you.
Okay, it's a very difficult vote for me. This is what makes being on the parole board not fun. Otherwise it's pretty enjoyable when you got to make hard decisions and you have such victim opposition and you have the DA against it, then you have the sheriff for it who knows him and has gotten to know him. His record is indisputable that he's done what's expected of him in jail and plus then some. I think because he's been in jail for now well over 30 years, he's made a real transformation. He did this act in time when he was under the influence of crack cocaine, and he had basically no other criminal activity prior to that, except one little marijuana deal, I think, that was dropped. I think all those things, it's contrary to my nature, but I'm going to give him a chance, and I'm going to, my vote is to grant parole, providing that he gets everything straight and heads over to Texas.
Okay, Ms. Renatza?
Yes, thank you. I want to thank the Walker family for coming and participating today. Your comments are very meaningful to us, and your participation is. And I appreciate the opposition to parole, both by the victim's family and the district attorney's office. I voted for Mr. Spencer when he had his pardon hearing. I believe that his time in prison has provided him with time to reflect and really give back to his community within the prison setting, those that he can help. He's done that. The risk assessment used by the Department of Corrections indicates that he's a low risk to reoffend. I do not believe he is a public safety risk. The comments by Sheriff McCain are very impactful and meaningful, at least to me. While, again, as I said, I appreciate the opposition to parole. Parole does not erase what he did. Mr. Spencer still must remain accountable for what he did and make amends in his community. I would vote to grant his parole to the out-of-state plan, so that would have to be approved first and work with the parole project. Add a special condition: he cannot return to Jeff Davis Parish. He has to have no contact with the victim's family whatsoever, and that when in Texas, that you do perform 6 hours of community service work each month, speaking to at-risk youth. That's my vote, Mr. Spencer. Good luck.
Okay, I also concur. I also voted for him at his pardon hearing. Mr. Spencer, you cannot leave the parole project without an approved residence plan to Texas. Okay? If not, if we're gonna find you housing outside of Jeff Davis Parish, I do not want you around around the victims. So, that's my vote for today. This hearing is closed at 9:40.
Thank you so much.
That was.
That's true. That's a big one.
Talking about.
Hearing people. But I like reading letters that I have from my work bosses and that I work with. That I was trying to get to stand up.
Okay, we're gonna call the board back to order. Time is 9:53. Serving today with me, remotely is Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. Our next location is Hunt Correctional Center. Warden, would you introduce, any staff that's there at Hunt?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Joe Butters, Assistant Warden.
Christy LeBlanc, classification.
Okay, thank you very much. Would the offender, say his name and DLC number, please?
Joshua Porche, 724-170.
Okay, Mr. Porche, today you're here for a revocation hearing. I am gonna read the violations to you. You are to plead guilty, not guilty, and either with a statement or without a statement, okay? That is your choice. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Hey, did you sign a parole questionnaire?
Yes,
for
sir.
this hearing?
Yes, sir.
You got it with you?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna put it up on the screen. Just tell me if that's your signature.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it said that you were not eligible for appointed counsel. You would have to hire counsel. Do you wish to proceed without counsel?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. These are the violations that you have alleged to committed. Your case was transferred through interstate compact to the state of Texas on 12/21/22. You have failed to report multiple times as instructed by the Texas parole officer, Daniel Kibler. You absconded from supervision on or about November 13th, 2023. On 12/7/2023, a parole warrant was issued due to you moving without obtaining permission from the Texas parole officer. Your whereabouts were unknown, and you were arrested by Arkansas State Police on 4/18/24. You did not have permission from supervising agent to be in that state. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. All right. That could be good for the statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your case has been assigned to Ms. Renatza. You will lead off with the question.
Morning, Mr. Porche. Why were you arrested? Why were you in Arkansas?
I started working for this trucking company called Low Key Enterprises. I had just met the boss lady at the grocery store like a couple weeks before, and she had put me in she had some extra trucks that she had. I had asked her about working, and she had let me start working with her, and I had went and picked up the truck in Washington, D.C., and I was bringing the load back to Houston.
Yeah, did you communicate with your new parole officer?
At that time, I didn't even know who my parole officer was because we had lost communication. I had the last parole officer I remember having was Miss Martinez, and she had changed my supervision to just calling every 3 months. I didn't even have to report at all. I just had to call every 3 months.
She did advise you that your supervision was being moved to another officer. The record reflects that.
I don't remember getting that message or anything but and like I said, at that time, I had got a new phone, so me and her were just communicating by text messages, and I don't remember getting any messages from her saying that I was getting transferred until it was like later on.
I think you even mentioned that in your preliminary hearing. You reported at your preliminary hearing that you spoke to the new officer several times by phone.
No, yeah, that was later on after like.
But he was always busy and told him he'd call you back, but he didn't call you back.
Right. Ms. Martinez, she told me this is like after probably like 3 weeks of her, or maybe a month or two of her, like of me believing that she's still my officer. I didn't know that my officer had been changed. And then when she did finally tell me, she gave me Mr. Kibler's number, and I texted him several times. I called him, and yes, he would always take me back saying, I'm busy right now. I'll call you back later on tonight, or I'll try to get in contact with you later on, or something like that.
Did you ever go to the office? Did you ever go to the parole office?
No, ma'am, because from
Okay.
my understanding, Miss Martinez didn't have a office at the office at the time. That's why I was just calling her. And
Yeah, but she was no longer your officer. So Mr. Porche, you were arrested. You were arrested in Arkansas. Have you ever been arrested in Texas while on supervision?
Yes, ma'am, I did. It was like a little group thing that they had. I was working for a construction company out of Waco, and they took the whole little crew that we had. They took us all in, but the charges is going to eventually get dropped. That's why I was hoping that I could get that all handled before all this happened, because the charges is going to get dropped because it.
Right, and I do see where you did go to jail. They left you the next day. Why couldn't the officer, the new officer who made several attempts at your residence of record in Texas, how come nobody was ever there? You weren't there, but nobody else was ever there either.
I live with that address is my auntie's address. That's my mom's sister's. My mom passed away when I was a kid. My dad passed away while I was in jail. My last time, and I went to stay with my auntie, but everybody there works like frequently, works every day. So depending on what time he came, there's always a time of the part of the day where there's nobody there because my auntie, she works. Uncle works. I was working at the time. I was working at a restaurant called Little New Orleans downtown. So I had multiple jobs at this time. That's why I was never there. I'll be either at the restaurant or I'll be at the construction.
All right. Warden Buttrose, is there anything you'd like to tell us about Mr. Porche?
You know, Mr. Porche's not been here for very long, maybe just under 2 months, or right at 2 months. He's in our reception center population. It's in your packet, but he was here only a couple of weeks and received a disciplinary report where he was found to be in possession of crystal meth. So, you know, he is no longer in maximum custody. He did his time and he's in general HRDC housing right now. But I just, outside of that, we haven't had any other issues.
And with that, I can take complete responsibility for that. I just didn't. It was a misunderstanding with somebody that I was trying to help somebody, and he ended up messing over me. And I told him about everything. That's my fault. I should have never even tried to help.
Okay. How long you been in jail? How long you been detained? Since May?
Yes, ma'am. Since they picked me up in Arkansas, I came straight here.
All right. I don't have any other questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Prater, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
I have no questions either. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Can I say one more thing? One more thing.
Okay, what?
I was just trying to actually y'all can take into consideration. I just had a daughter in March the 2nd. I just had a little girl in March, and that's really why I was working so hard trying to keep myself out of trouble so I could be there for her. And that's why that's really why I was trying to get this get my parole reinstated so that I could be there for her. And I'm really in a process of changing my life, because I'm not trying to be gone from her. I'm not trying to be out of her life at all. And that's why I was really working so much. And that's why I really was not really losing my focus on communicating with my parole officer, because I was working a lot, trying to be there for my daughter.
Okay, all right. Now we're ready to vote. Okay, Ms. Renatza?
Yes. Mr. Porche, I appreciate what you've said about the communicating. But I do find you guilty of absconding. I don't believe you were forthcoming with us today. My vote today is going to be to revoke your parole. You will have an opportunity to request another parole hearing. We'll send you some information on how and when you can do that.
Mr. Prater?
Yes, my vote is to also revoke. That's it.
I concur, you're under supervision and, you out of state without permission from your other state. So your parole's been revoked today. You'll get a letter telling you when you can reapply. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Still, we don't understand.
Okay, we're still at Hunt Correctional Center. My name is Pete Freeman. I am the acting chair today. Along with me is Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. Would the inmate please state his name and DLC number?
Kenny Daigle, 374473.
Okay, I see y'all have some visitors there. Would y'all please introduce yourself, please?
I'm Keith Jobert. I'm Kenny's brother-in-law.
I'm Janelle Jobert. I'm his sister.
Okay, and Mr. Jobert, you're gonna speak, correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, we have two other individuals in the room, but we'll let them introduce. They're off camera.
Okay.
Joshua Jobert. I'm Kenny's nephew.
And Jennifer Jobert. I'm Kenny's niece.
Okay. Well, thank y'all for coming here to support Mr. Daigle. Okay, Mr. Daigle, I'm gonna read some information into the record. Please listen to me. If anything is incorrect, then we'll try to get it straightened out, okay? Okay, Mr. Daigle, your DOC number is 0374473. You are a fourth felony offender. You were convicted of possession with intent to distribute meth, habitual offender. You were habitual offender on it. You also habitual offender on distribution of marijuana and habitual offender on possession with intent to distribute cocaine. You received 12-year sentences that were to run concurrent. Your parole eligibility date was 4/13/24. Your adjusted good time date is 1/14/2033, and your full term date is 4/14/33. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. We're gonna start with you, Mr. Daigle. I want you to tell us what you were doing, why you were doing it, and why you think we should let you out today.
All right. I was selling methamphetamines, coke, and marijuana to support my habit of meth. I don't do coke. I smoke weed, and that's how I was getting by, making a living doing that. I mean, I had a job, but I mean, I also did that also on the side. I ran a motel. I did the maintenance there, and I had access to everything there, so I was there all the time. And most of my customers lived there, so.
And why should we think about letting you out today?
This incarcerated this time here, I had it pretty bad. I did some classes. The only classes they let me get, I took. I read every day. I feel a lot better. I'm not on drugs. There's 3 years and 5 months I had to do drugs, clean and sober.
Okay, Ward, do you have anything to say?
Mr. Chairman, he's been here a little over 2 months. He is housed in our assisted living dorm. He came to us discharged from the hospital and came to us after suffering a stroke and came here for rehabilitation. So we're caring for him here medically. He has no write-ups. He hasn't been any trouble for us since he's been here.
No, the place I came from either, no write-ups, no kind of trouble. I caught a stroke March 24th, and I was supposed to have a parole here April 18th, and they shipped me here that same date. I had 3 heart attacks. I got 2 stents, and I caught 2 strokes.
Okay, okay. Now we're gonna hear for those that are in favor for you, Mr. Jobert.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity to speak for Kenny. I've been knowing Kenny for about 48 years now. I've been married to his sister for 45 years. He's the youngest of 7 children. As he was growing up, Kenny didn't have the complete guidance that the other family members had, because as they grew up, they moved to Texas and so forth. And being the youngest, and I noticed that he was hanging with the wrong crowds. And that's when it started, when he was at a young age. But I noticed one other thing about Kenny was when he was in a structured and controlled environment, one close to family, or had a job that he liked to do, he was fine. But when he got somewheres, which he lived in the New Orleans area and Slidell area, where we didn't have that connection with him, that's when he strayed into the drugs. And I'll give you an example. When he was at the Bridge House in New Orleans, he was there, I think, for approximately 8 years. And in those 8 years, he was a mechanic there for Bridge House. And we visited with him quite often. And he was totally fine, clean, enjoyed his job. It was a totally different man. But then when he moved to Slidell and he took over the job of managing these apartments, that's when I saw the change. It was away from a structured environment. That's what we'd like to see him get back to, close to family and have that family structure again.
Yes, sir.
So,
we appreciate you speaking on his behalf. Your case has been assigned to Ms. Renatza, so she will have a few questions for you, Mr. Daigle.
Mr. Daigle, good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
So, congratulations on being sober 3 years and 5 months.
Thank you, ma'am.
You know, as your brother-in-law said, you were in Bridge House for 8 years. What do you think caused you to fail when you left the Bridge House?
I had a fiance, and I got home from work. I found her dead on the floor, OD'd on heroin. And 3 months after that, I was out there, and I lost my job.
Okay. So you continued to be around people who were involved in drugs.
She kept it from me because she knew I worked for rehab and I was clean and sober, and she kept it from me. I had no clue.
Yeah. Well, you know, I asked those questions because I see you did the Bridge House. I saw you were successful there. Then you went through the Steve Hall program, didn't you? And that's the best we have to offer in DOC. And then when you were released from there, your term expired in 2016, and then here we are again.
That's ma'am.
And so I did see in the record that you are the maintenance guy at the hotel. You lived there. You sold narcotics from your room pretty much on a daily basis. And you said it was to support your habit. Would it be an addiction?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it that you were addicted to?
Methamphetamine.
To the meth.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you dealing with that now? You say you've been sober and clean and sober. How?
This show changed my life. It really did. I'm trying to get my motor system back working again. I'm fighting with that really now. My voice is not even the same. I'll bite the inside of my mouth when I talk. I drew. My hands.
Well, let me tell you this, Mr. Daigle, and I appreciate that. And you did put that in a letter to us, and you say you're tired, you don't want to live that life anymore. You're just tired of it. And I can see, and I think that your drug use has certainly affected your health. And I do see the need for the rehabilitation. Let me tell you, I'm just going to tell you for now, for me, I think you're in the best place to get the care you need for your rehab. Seems like you're making some good progress with that. And so I'm not inclined to grant you parole, not today. Maybe later. You still got some time to do before you get to mandatory release date. You'll have another opportunity to ask for parole again. But for me, it's not today.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, that's all I got.
thank you, Ms. Renatza. Mr. Prater, do you have any questions?
Sir, I don't have any questions. I've thoroughly reviewed the record and heard what's been said today, and I'm prepared to vote to also deny his parole today.
Okay, do I need to call for a vote now? Okay, let's put it officially on the record. Ms. Renatza?
Yes.
vote?
Yes, Mr. Daigle, my vote today is to deny your parole so that you can continue to receive the excellent health care that you're receiving at Hunt, and I encourage you to reapply at such time as you're eligible to do so. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Concur with Ms. Renatza to deny.
Okay, my vote is also to deny, Mr. Daigle. I do think you're at the best place. And we need to do a little time here to try to see what's gonna happen. I mean, like Ms. Renatza said, Steve Hall was the best we had to offer, and it didn't work. So hopefully you are getting older. Try to prove that to us and reapply. So that's my correction.
How long do I have to wait to reapply?
We'll send you a letter to tell you when you can reapply. Okay? All right, man. Keep up the good work, okay?
Sir. Actually.
No. Okay, all right, we're gonna call the board back to order. Today with me is Miss Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. Do you have any staff there with you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, is there any staff in the room?
No, it's just me. I'm the deputy and I have two that's up for parole today.
Okay, yeah, and we need Gregory Howard first.
Okay.
Okay, are you Mr. Gregory Howard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Howard, give me your name and DOC number for the record, please.
Gregory Howard, 1949-86, sir.
Okay, Mr. Howard, you are here today for a revocation hearing. Joining me on the board today is Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. I am the acting chair today. Ma'am, would you introduce yourself again from Plaquemine Parish? She went out again? That's okay. Okay, that's okay. We don't need her. Okay, Mr. Howard, we're here today for your revocation hearing. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna read the violations. You'll plead guilty or not guilty with a statement or without a statement. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I've been assigned your case and I will ask you some questions since you have no one here to speak for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you complete your parole questionnaire?
Yes, sir.
Okay, y'all want to put it up? Could you identify that as your signature?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so it stated you were not eligible for appointed counsel. Are you ready to proceed today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Howard, on 11/30/2023, you were arrested by the Plaquemine, Louisiana Sheriff's Office for domestic abuse battery. You were charged with domestic abuse battery first offense, but later pled guilty to the amended charge of disturbing the peace and was sentenced to 37 days parish prison, credit for time served under Plaquemine's docket number 23-04328. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
Okay. You're gonna make a not guilty with a statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, since I've been assigned your case, and I'm gonna tell you straight up from the get-go, you be honest today.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, sir.
Better be totally honest. Okay, tell me what happened with this domestic violence charge.
Okay, I put my girlfriend out for another woman, and she got enough feelings and told me, say, well, before you move your new girlfriend in, first you gotta get you out of jail. And she called the police and she just said, I hit her. And that was it. And I went to jail.
And that's what you have to say.
That's it. That's it. And I went to jail. It just took
okay. Let me ask you this. What about your best friend who said you did punch him?
I can't, excuse me?
They had a witness said that you did punch it. A witness that you said was gonna say that you didn't, said you did.
What's up with that?
You don't know what's up with that.
No,
And she claimed punch. She claimed you on the phone And you said, let me take care of this business, and you punched him.
No, sir.
Oh,
Never
you-
happened.
Okay, you denying, any of that ever happened?
No, that never happened, sir.
Okay, do y'all still talk?
Yes, sir.
Y'all have any kids?
No, sir.
Well, why, if she didn't want to come on today to speak on your behalf?
She had wrote a letter already. She had worked.
Okay, all right, I have no further questions. Ms. Renatza,
I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Prater.
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
Okay, well, it's time to vote, so I'm gonna vote. You're in for manslaughter.
You?
So if you got, your full term date's what, in 33?
Yes, sir.
2033?
2033.
And yet I asked you, please be honest. There's several witnesses said you punched that lady.
How could that be?
Well, I'm gonna vote, I don't believe you're telling me the truth. My vote today is to revoke. Ms. Renatza,
I do concur. My vote today also is to revoke.
Mr. Prater.
Concur with your decision. Revoke.
The parole's been revoked. You'll get a letter in the mail telling you when you can reapply. That's the end of this hearing.
Thank you.
Hmm.
How you doing?
Okay. The parole board is called back to order. It is 7:24:24. Time is 10:51. Serving with me today is Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. My name is Pete Freeman. I will be the acting chair today. I've also been assigned your case, Jaylon. Would any, there's no staff there with you. Tell me your name and DOC number.
My name is Jaylon Williams. My DOC number is 746-691.
Okay. And Mr. Williams, I am going to read some information into the record. Please listen carefully and advise me if you think anything is incorrect, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are a second felony offender. You have a parole date of 8/6/23, good time date of 5/24/26, and a full term date of 3/20/27. You were convicted of the offenses of habitual offender, simple burglary, illegal use of a weapon or aggravated assault with a firearm, simple burglary of an inhabited dwelling, possession of firearm with a convicted felon, illegal use of a weapon or ag assault with a firearm, and simple burglary. You were given a total of 5 years. Does that information sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a lot of people here today. In opposition will be Mr. Randall Myers of the DA's office in Jefferson. In support of you, Mr. Williams, we have Wendy Randall, a cousin who does not wish to speak. Ramona Critchlow, aunt, not speaking. Donna Jackoway, cousin, not speaking. Velvivia Procheron, not speaking. Arnold Randall, he's a cousin, he will be speaking. Rhonda Murdoch, she's your mother, she will be speaking. Wynette Montaut, I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. Montaut, cousin, not speaking. Chelsea Johnson, cousin, not speaking. Kevin Boucher, that is your attorney. He will speak last when it comes to the people that are in favor. And Samuel Williams, who is in support. That is your father. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to get this hearing underway. I've been assigned your case. So, Mr. Williams, first off, tell us, why were you doing all of these burglaries? And why should we think about letting you out today?
Well, at the time, sir, I was young and ignorant. I'm gonna just start that off, but I take full responsibility for everything I was doing. I was homeless out there. I was going through certain emotions trying to be an adult when I didn't even know how to be an adult because I was young-minded. So at the time being, you know what I'm saying? At the time being, I was just lost in the streets. I really didn't have no main motive. I was just lost. That was really like a lot of stuff that I was going through with my life, you know, downfalls with my family, downfalls with friends, all type of stuff. It was just a lot going on at the time being. And I'm gonna be honest with you, sir, I have elevated in my life. For these 4 years that I've been down, sir, I have got myself together. I done taken classes, I done took college courses, I done a lot of thinking on myself. I'm gonna be honest, I knew I was lost. That's the reason why I take full accountability for me being lost and doing what I was doing out there when I shouldn't even have to do that because I have a real support system.
And how long you said you've been in prison?
I've been in prison since May 12, 2020.
Okay. So were you on drugs when you was doing these burglaries?
Yes.
I mean, why were you commit?
Can
you hear me, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was saying I apologize for cutting you off.
Okay, were you on drugs when you were committing these offenses?
Yes, sir.
What kind of drugs were you using?
Different like X pills, which were filled with methamphetamine, cocaine, weed, all type of things. Just, you know, dealing in a lot of drugs. I wasn't on fentanyl or heroin or anything like that, but I was on uppers and downers.
Okay. Did you get any classes while you've been incarcerated with regards to drugs?
Oh, yes, sir. I was in Mr. McFarland's, our team is McFarland that does the MAT, the Medical Assistant Treatment Program. I was in that program for 6 months, and I also took his regular substance abuse when I first came here.
Okay. Are you gonna, does that require any shots of anything or anything like that?
What you mean, like taking talking about the little shots that they be taking? No, I didn't take none of that. I wasn't on like any, like I said, downers or anything like that, like, opiums or anything. So I didn't feel that I needed that. I just needed to learn from, what I was going through with my habits.
Okay, do you realize you were an addict?
Yes, I most definitely, I take full responsibility that I was an addict at the time.
What do you do when you get out to try to handle your substance abuse on the outside?
Oh, I'm gonna be honest with you, sir. I've already told Mr. Artemis McFarland that I'm gonna work with him with the mentorship, with helping with the peer support and everything also. I'm gonna help him with that to help people that was in my situation also. So that's gonna be always like my limelight, basically like my recollection to myself to reevaluate myself. Like this is where I was at one point in time, and now I'm at this point in time. So now I'm helping somebody else to try to get to a different place. That'll be me still reevaluating myself and knowing that I don't need to go back to them times being.
Okay. Okay, where are you gonna live?
I'll be living at 3721 Clover Lane, Harvey, Louisiana, 70058.
Okay, and what are you gonna do for an income?
Oh, I have 2 jobs. I'll be working with Miss Brown at I think it's called Tyler's College or University, one of them, but I'll be cleaning up for her. And then I'll be also working for my mother, also doing janitorial work at her Allstate insurance firm on Manhattan. Both of these locations are in the West Bank of New Orleans and Jefferson Parish.
Okay, you gonna be living with your mother?
Yes, for the time being until I get on my feet and do what I have to do, she's gonna be supporting me and helping me.
Okay. So, let's see, what other classes have you taken? I see you took plea release, risk management, phase 1 and 2, Hazelton's new direction, anything else?
No, sir, besides the college courses that I took at Ashland University.
Okay, and what about the firearm possession charges? I mean, what was that? You had guns when you were doing the burglaries or what?
Nah, I ain't have guns when I was doing the burglaries, but I did keep a gun on me because of the simple fact of the city that I live in. It's just, certain tensions, people mess, I just needed it to protect myself. I'm originally not from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. So being raised in New Orleans, I have to always defend because, people try to pick on you. So at the end of the day, I just did that on like a defense level.
Okay, so what do you do when you get out? You definitely can't have a gun.
No, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna be honest with you, sir. I'm not even gonna worry about that. I'm not even gonna deal in that type of lane anymore. I'm just out there trying to go home to my family and do what I have to do. All that mischief, being in the streets and all that, that's a thing of the past. My future is enlightened.
Okay, do you have any disciplinary record? Have you had any write-ups since you've been in jail?
No, I don't have no DOC write-ups.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. So we're gonna proceed with your people who are in favor to speak. Arnold Randall.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. What do you have to tell us today about Mr. Williams?
I just want to say, Mr. Williams, he's a great young man. He just made some bad choices in life, but he's learned from them, and he has a great family support who's going to definitely be there to support him through all the way through this. As he says, and just watching the video, I can see the growth in him already. So I fully have full confidence that he's going to come out here and do the right thing. On myself, I am retired law enforcement, so I definitely plan on being by his side as well and helping get through these tough times. He's like a lot of kids who's just, like I said, just made some choices, but he's learned from them. His mother's very supportive of him. She's definitely ready to come out and ready for him to come out so she can help get on his feet as well. She's made some great provisions for him as well as the rest of the family. And I definitely wish him well. I have full confidence that he'll do the right thing. And if there's anything that I can do on my behalf, I'm definitely willing to stand behind him. And I'll put my career on that.
Okay. Next, we'll have, thank you, sir, for speaking. We appreciate it. Rhonda Murdoch. mother, Ms. Murdoch. Okay, Ms. Murdoch, what do you want to tell us about your son?
Yes, sir. Good morning. I just wanted to come just from a perspective of growth and development. I had to say it had to been around mid 2022 when my son was transferred to PAQUEMINES Parish, where I started seeing a lot of growth and development in him. I distinctly remember a conversation where he told me that his incarceration was only one component of his rehabilitation. And that's when he started taking the courses for the anger management and substance abuse. He would later attend On the Right Path counseling, where he did receive a letter of recommendation from his counselor, Mr. Artemis McFarland. He's done so many tremendous things as far as trying to grow himself. I remember asking him, were the classes helping him? Like, when you come out, will you return to doing drugs or anything? And he told me that the class helped him to understand as to why he was leaning that way, instead of doing more positive things to take his anger or his issues in another direction. So from that, I actually can say that his character around accountability for the things that he's done, his spiritual and mental growth, just overall constructive growth I've seen within Jaylon. And the third component to that is family support, which is why there are so many of us on this call, because we've all seen the development that Jaylon has made, and we're ready for him to come home so that we too can be a part of his rehabilitation.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your statement. Samuel Williams, your father. Mr. Williams, are you on? Okay, unmuted, Mr. Williams.
Yes, good morning.
Morning. What do you have to say about your son, Mr. Williams?
Yes, as he's been up in there and I talked to him, we talked a lot during the week. I definitely have seen his growth of how he used to act and act towards us and how he speak towards us. And it looked like he's coming, staying on a positive road to try to do the right thing. And like I said, we're here to support him, which we always have been, and let him know that, hey, put his family first, that we are here for him, instead of his friends or people that he think was his friends that helped lead him down the wrong road, which he did himself, contribute to that, hanging with the wrong crowds and everything. I think he's learned this lesson, and think he'll be a positive person to the community and going to do what he has to do now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate you speaking. Mr. Kevin Boshea, your attorney, would you like to close it out for us?
Thank you very much. Kevin Boshea on behalf of Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams has stated some factually correct aspects of his case. At the time that I became involved in his case, the burglaries in question were at a time that he was both homeless and subject to substance abuse. However, I've been handling criminal cases now for 45 years, and 10 of those years as a district attorney in the state of Louisiana. I have multiple certificates from the PLAQUEMINES Parish Correctional Center program, specifically from Mr. Artemis McFarland, concerning mind-altering substances, phase 1 and 2, a certificate of completion for reentry courses from PLAQUEMINES Parish. Again, criminal and addictive thinking from PLAQUEMINES Parish.
Yes, sir. We have all of his certificates.
I assume you have all that documentation as well as a letter of recommendation. What we have here also, ladies and gentlemen, is a situation where he has not only one, but 2 economic offers in question. That is 2 different job offers, as well as more family support than I normally see in these kinds of cases, to be honest with you. Sometimes you don't have anybody. Sometimes you just have one person who hasn't seen the individual. But here I've got a whole group, a whole Boy Scout troop, literally, of people that are willing to support this man and keep him on the right track. Based on that fact, based on the amount of time he served, based on the certificates he's completed, based on the fact of the lack of write-ups, based on the family support, I ask this board consider a release on parole, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now we'll go to the opposition, Mr. Randall Meyer. Hi, Ms. Mars. Frozen, Mr. Meyer.
All right, sorry, I was having a problem getting that mute button off. I think Mr. Munez, I think Mr. Williams is going to be, he's on the right track for getting out. My concern is when you asked what his plan was to deal with his drug addiction and to stay out, I didn't hear him say anything about AA in it. That's a very important thing that he needs to consider and be aware of, which leads me to think he needs some additional substance abuse treatment, maybe the Steve Hoyle program. Situations like this, I refer to a friend of mine who just recently celebrated his 40th year of sobriety. It was an alcohol issue, but he's been 40 years and he's done AA, that entire time, very involved in it. And I think that's very important. So for that reason, we're opposed at this time.
All right. I've asked most of the questions that I wanted to ask while I was introducing him. So Mr. Prater or Ms. Renata, do y'all have any questions for the offender?
Yes, sir. I'll go first, I reckon then. I was curious, Mr. Williams, how many burglaries did you commit?
Oh, me, sir. I committed with Jefferson Parish, it was 26 counts, but it was 120, which was 27 because one was an attempt. In the Orleans Parish, it was 10, I wanted to say, 10 to 11, because it was 9 simple burglaries and 1 simple burglary when it happened in dwelling. And then it was 1 simple burglary that came out the blue within 19. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not, as a man, I take full accountability because of the simple fact of I was out there doing stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I was kind of lost on that last one. But everything else, sir, I take full accountability for that. I actually did.
Okay. Do you have any idea what it's like to work hard for something and then someone to come in and steal it from you?
So to be honest with you, sir, at that time of being, I didn't. But now that I do, I understand it fully because I just had a conversation about this the other day when people was talking about how, I'm gonna be honest, let me just say this one thing. I was having a conversation with an inmate, right? And he was telling me how to be like this and be like that, but I told him I'm not going out there to be like that because I understand fully what I was doing out there. So I feel like if a person tried to take something from me, I understand fully how you would feel because of the simple fact of I wouldn't want nobody to take something from me. But at the end of the day, I was wrong, I was lost, and I wanted to be just like this here. I told him, clean up. If a person was to walk down on me and try to take something from me, I'll probably try to help him before, you get what I'm saying? I let him take it from me because of the simple fact of I know how he feels. I knew I was there at one point in time. Sometimes we don't understand fully what be going through a person's mind or what they be going through, what they're dealing with. Just like I said, I was dealing with addiction, and it's people that's in way more deeper addictions than I am. You get what I'm saying? That sometimes, they call it ache and pain. They be sick and all. But at the end of the day, sir, I understand them people pain, and I apologize for them people pains that I caused them because I know that's like terror. That's like, somebody got close to you. Even if it was just cause, you get what I'm saying? And even though one was a house, but even though most of them was just cause, that's still close to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's still like I invaded your territory. So like I say, I apologize for being lost at that time of being, sir. But at the end of the day, right now, I understand fully that I see how they feel, and I apologize to them. If they were right here right now, I would apologize to each and every individual from the 26 all the way to the 10 to the last one.
Oh. Where did you get the gun?
I got the guns out of people's cars, sir.
So it wasn't your gun.
No, sir.
Somebody else's gun, because I thought I heard somewhere you say it was your gun. Maybe I misunderstood. I'll give you that, but it did seem unusual. You'd have your own gun and then you're breaking into cars. That doesn't sound like the normal burglars. All right. How many burglaries did you commit that you didn't get caught on?
How many burglaries did I commit that I didn't get caught on? I'm gonna be honest, sir, I really can't even count. I know it was more, but I know when Jefferson, I'm gonna be honest with you, when Jefferson Parish called me in 2019, I admitted to a lot of burglaries. I even told the officers that it was me, because they was asking me fully and I was letting them know, yeah, that was me, sir. Ooh, this is what was going on. I did this and everything, sir. So to be honest with you, I've done a lot of burglaries, sir, just at that time of being, because I was just lost. It was just car burglaries. I'm gonna be honest with you, sir. I never like broke anybody's window. I didn't want to damage nobody's property. It was mostly like I was putting the car door handle. If the door didn't open, I wasn't gonna burglarize it. So like, it's not like I wanted to just break windows and do all that extra stuff like that, because I didn't want to damage people's property. I was just trying to find money. Like I was just trying to find something to take care of myself because I was out there bad.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to, ask negative questions, but I also want to point out that you got a good attitude, and I appreciate the strides that you made in correcting your life and understanding all of that. And I wish you well, whichever way I vote on this thing in a few minutes. I wish you well on that. And that's all the questions I got.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Mr. Dotson, do you have any questions?
No, I was going to ask about the number of victims that he thought he had created. He kind of covered that with Mr. Prater. One thing, though, that he said that strikes me a little is I was an addict at the time, I think is what he said. Is that what you said, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I was explaining to him that I was an addict at that time.
Okay. And do you think you're an addict now?
No, ma'am. I'm gonna be honest, with the help of Mr. Artemis McFarland, I've understood fully, like, we justify stuff when we're addicts also. Like, when you justify yourself as an addict, or we place blame, we make excuses. See, one thing my father has always taught me, when a person makes excuses, he has to keep making excuses. So I stopped making excuses and I take full responsibility. So with the
Right, I understand that, but I think you're missing something in the training, because the training is, once you're an addict, you're always an addict. The way you deal with it is the difference.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm tending to lean a little bit towards what the DA said. You might need some more education in that regard. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. This case was assigned to me, and I'm gonna go first. Jaylon, the only thing concerns me about you is the drug usage. And like Ms. Renata pointed out, I would have hoped by now you would realize that you're gonna be an addict for life, and that you're gonna always have to do things to try to keep you on the straight path. I was gonna just straight out grant you, but with that in mind, I am going to recommend that you go to the Steve Hoyle program, and upon completion, you follow any recommendations of that program, and that you be paroled at that time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Renata?
Mr. Williams, you have a release date in 26, so I would agree to the long-term substance abuse program. So my vote today would be conditional, granting after you complete the long-term substance abuse program.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And I think you've maxed out on pretty much on your good time credit, so that program is not going to move your date forward, but you will benefit from it greatly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Prater?
I'd vote to deny. I'm not sure he's addressed his addiction and the vast number of victims out there. Good gracious, I've spent my entire adult life dealing with victims, and getting things stolen from you, it just aggravates. And so many times it's a repeat offense that just continues and continues. So my vote would be to deny, but as is clear, that's not the feeling of my board members, and I appreciate that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, you've been granted conditionally by 2-1 vote that you go to the Steve Hall Center, complete the program. They'll put you in whatever program they think you need. And upon completion, that you follow any of their recommendations, which I'm gonna already put 3 AA meetings a week, but I think they will put that, because that's the only thing concerns me about you. You got a good head on your shoulder. You got a great support cast here. We appreciate everyone that came and showed up for you. You better be thankful that you have that support class, but that support in your future. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's our vote today. We will make the recommendation to get you moved to Steve Hall as soon as possible, and upon completion, you'll be released.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, also, Miss. I really thank all of y'all. I even understand where, the other board member even feels like, but I thank him even for even looking at me, but I understand fully where he comes from too, but I thank all of y'all.
Okay.
Thanks.
I have a nice day.
Good luck to you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We are closed out at PLAQUEMINES Parish at 11:18. Okay, next we will be at BAYOU, Dorset Correctional Institute to hear, Mr. Milton Faulkner. My name is, Faulkner. My name is Pete Freeman. I'll be the acting chair. Along with me is Mr. Cheryl Renata and Mr. Steve Prater. Today we're here for your parole hearing. Mr. Faulkner, please give me your name and DLC number.
Milton Faulkner, 584476.
Okay, Mr. Faulkner, is there anybody in there with you, or are you by yourself in the room?
My name is Sandy Gale, and I'm the booking officer here at Bayou Correctional.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dell, you said?
Gale?
Gail, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Ms. Gale, if y'all had any problems with him or any comments you wish to make on Mr. Faulkner?
Mr. Faulkner has only been here for a short time, and his short time here, he has not had any write-ups or any issues.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna read some information into record, Mr. Faulkner. If anything is incorrect, please advise, okay?
Yes, sir.
We're here to hear Milton Faulkner. Mr. Faulkner, you are a 4th felony offender. You have a parole date of 7/2/23. You're not eligible for good time. You have a full term date of 1/2/25. You had a 2-year sentence for possession of meth. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Faulkner, I want you to tell me what was going on in your life at that time. Why were you doing meth? And why should we consider letting you out today?
Well, I was taking what they call X pills. And the kind of job I had, it was long hours, so I really was taking it to stay up.
All right, and why do you think we should let you out today?
I feel like I learned my lesson. I've been going through a lot, like with my kids, my family. My fiance, she died 5 days after she had my son, so he's stuck out there really, My kids need me. I have a job waiting on me. I go back to my job if I do get out. Working at Avondale Shipyard at Host Terminal.
And is that all you wish to say, Mr. Faulkner?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On your behalf, we have Miss Sarah Faulkner, your mother. Miss Faulkner, do you wish to give a statement?
Good morning. Yes, I will.
Okay.
I think he would be commendable of coming out toward his job. He has a baby that he strictly need to come to take care of. Also because, like he said, his fiance died a week after birth. And it's been hard on the family and everything, especially with me, because the people that the baby is staying with is with his sister and a family and I don't get to see my grandbaby. The last time I see my grandbaby was when he was out, and which he tried to give me full custody of it, but I wouldn't do it that way. But and then he has a job waiting on him, and he needs to come out to support his kids that he have. And I'm 100% supportive. I didn't know that other people could get on the line that was asking me about it, but they are on YouTube at this time also. And he does have family support. He has somewhere to stay at. I'm 100% behind him, that God would guide him and lead him in a direction to take care of his kids. And his job is waiting on him also.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Faulkner. Mr. Randall Myers from Jefferson Parish DA's office.
I'm sorry about that again. I'm having problems getting that the way y'all can hear me. I'm opposed at this time in looking at what he's been doing while he's been incarcerated. I don't see any programs that he's taken. He's a poor supervision when he was out. He was on parole out of Mississippi when he committed the offense that we have here today. He was in a high-set program and was released or discharged out of that, removed out of that back in January because of disciplinary problem. However, apparently he didn't get a write-up, which did not result in him being removed from this hearing today. And he's got an outstanding attachment, an active attachment for him out of Mississippi, but his parole violation there. So for those reasons, we're opposed to his request for parole.
Okay. Mr. Prater, you've been assigned this case. Do you have any questions for Mr. Faulkner?
Sir, what was the deal about the high set discipline? Why?
I never got into no trouble. I was in a camp that I was asking to get in classes, and I was taking my GED, but they moved me because I was trying to get in like other classes, and they was letting offenders go before me because I was flat time, and they was telling me that I couldn't take other classes, and a situation happened where they wanted me to tell on something that I seen but I didn't see and I didn't have knowledge of. So they shipped me, and I was supposed to be work release eligible, but I couldn't go because of the detainer. But I didn't get in no trouble. Because why I was at, they love to take good time and do disciplinary. That's their main thing to do.
So they like to take discipline and good time from you, huh?
Yeah. So if I was a problem, they would have made sure I went in front disciplinary board.
Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I was looking, you're a fifth felony offender. Is that correct?
Fourth.
Fourth? Well, I wrote down fifth. I don't know. Maybe somebody got something. Anyway, that's a lot. It seemed like that you've had a lot of problems with breaking the law and different things. How can we trust that you're not gonna get out and do the same thing? You hadn't been in that long.
I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, I had a problem with, taking drugs. And I learned my lesson.
Yeah, that's
like more important, like my family, I have things that I have to do, like as far as with my kids, they need me. But it's over with. Even if y'all was to let me go or not, I learned my lesson. I'm a man, so I have to accept what come with it. I understand what I did and the consequences that come with it, but it's over with. I can't leave my kids like that again.
well, yeah, prison is a problem. It gets in the way of a lot of things.
Yes,
But that doesn't mean that you're ready to get out. That's all I got.
Mr. Rosser, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, how much time do you owe Mississippi?
I had 2 years left on parole, in which I guess the parole officers said that I absconded, which saying that I wasn't living in the place that I was, and my mother could tell you.
Right, so how much time do you still owe them?
About a year or two.
Okay, that's all I got. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is the panel ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Prater, you'll go first since it was your case.
Okay, my vote today is to deny because of his criminal record, and it appears that he says he's learned his lesson because he needs to get out, but I don't know that he has. And anyway, my vote is to deny.
Renatza?
I agree. My vote today is to deny because of the opposition expressed here today.
Okay, my vote is also to deny you, parole has been denied today, Mr. Faulkner. You'll get out in January. So that'll be our closing out, at 11:35 from Bayou Dorchette.
Thank you.
It's going. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? What is that? What is that all this mean? What you do?
Okay, good morning. My name is Pete Freeman. I will be the acting chair today. Serving along with me will be Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. We will be your hearing panel today. We are at Morehouse Parish Correctional Center. Is there any staff at Morehouse? Okay, there's nobody in there with you, Mr. Munitz? No, I can see there's nobody in there. Can you hear me, Mr. Munitz? Can't hear us? Get somebody in Morehouse, please.
You want me to unmute?
Oh, yes, Mr. Knox?
You to unmute, right?
We are unmuted.
Okay, put me on.
Unmuted, but we still can't hear them because their microphones are still muted.
Take him over to the which one?
I don't think all of them are muted. I think the speak off.
To speak off?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I was doing myself.
See, let's speak off.
Can y'all hear me in Morehouse? Okay, can you hear me in Morehouse?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, we're gonna start this hearing over again. Today we're at Morehouse Parish Prison. We will be having a parole hearing on Mr. Christopher Munz. Today, joining me on the panel is Ms. Cheryl Mernatza, Mr. Steve Prater. My name is Pete Freeman. I will be the acting chair today. I've also been assigned your case, Mr. Munz. So, Mr. Munz, state your name and DOC number for me, please.
Christopher Munz, DOC number 744696.
Okay. Mr. Munz, I'm gonna read some information into the record. If any of it sounds like it's not true, just stop me and we'll try to get everything on the same page, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Munz, you are a second felony offender. You were on for carnal knowledge of a juvenile, which was revoked when you were arrested for cruelty to an animal and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. You were given a total of 5 years. Your parole date is 4/13/23. Your adjusted good time date is 6/2/26, and your full term date is 7/14/26. Does all of that information sound correct to you, Mr. Munz?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today with us in opposition, we're going to add Mr. Myers. We will ask him to speak at the proper time. Also in favor, we have Michelle Munz, your sister. She will be speaking. Miss Rafredo Varela, her brother, Rafredo Bernella, and he will be speaking. Sonia Munz, your mother, she will be speaking. And also attending in support is your dad, Rafredo Munz Sr. Okay, first off, Mr. Munz, tell us what went on. Tell us about the carnal knowledge and tell us about the shooting of the dog incident. And then tell us why you think we should consider letting you out today.
Yes, sir. Well, At the time I was 18 years old, I lacked a lot of knowledge. I was very ignorant to the situation. One day I ended up I seen somebody that I went to school with, and that person that I went to school with just so happened to be with the victim. With that being said, me and the person that I went to school with ended up coming in an agreement. She said she wanted to hang out so we can catch up. She said the victim was gonna come over with her. So, I got to know the victim. The victim said that she was 18 years old. And, it's like, this is just the worst mistake I ever made. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't evaluate the situation how I was supposed to do it. I didn't ask the proper questions to the female in order for me to get to thoroughly know who she is, which is another place where I went wrong at. And it resulted in me getting the conviction of carnal knowledge of a juvenile. With the aggravated cruelty to an animal, there was an incident prior to that situation where I was hospitalized by these same dogs. Whenever I went to the hospital behind these dogs, I actually received puncture wounds because they attacked me. So at that time, I didn't decide to call the authorities because I felt as if I did, 9 times out of 10, it would have came back on me in a bad way. Like the people weren't up no good. Their intentions weren't right. You know what I'm saying? So basically, with that being said, it's like one day we came to the conclusion that it was time to move. When we were in the process of moving, I ended up bringing my dog down last. So when I brought my dog downstairs, I ended up trying to bring him to the truck, to the U-Haul truck. With that being said, the neighbors had a couple dogs in the leash. They ended up letting the dogs go. The dogs ended up attacking my dog. And eventually that's when I ended up taking matters into my own hands because one got loose and tried to attack me again. And I ended up shooting the dog, which was a horrible mistake that I committed too. And I'm completely remorseful for the situation. I really wish I could take back what I did. But all I could do is learn from this experience that I'm going through now. And I'm very remorseful in every circumstance.
Okay. All right, Mr. Munez, thank you for your statement. Now we're going to hear from the people that are in favor. Miss Michelle Munez, sister.
Hi, yes. Well, I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity that he's even here, eligible for possibly a parole. If there's anyone that deserves a second chance, or even a third, is definitely Christopher. And I know it might sound biased because it's my brother, but he's done everything he could do and he has stayed out of trouble. And I know, I'm sorry, I get emotional, how difficult prison can be. And I want him to be home and protected. And we just need him. And we just hope that he has a chance to be able to start his life and get himself back on track, because I know it's in him. And he's the best person I know. I mean, I would take that to my grave. But yes, I would appreciate anything that we could do for him. We were there for him all the time, and we'll always be there for him. And we're praying for a good outcome today.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Munez. Now we'll hear from Wilfredo Valarella, your brother.
Hey. So I'm sorry, I'm as well very emotional. It's very hard to see my little brother, baby brother, in such a situation. It's very unfortunate. I am very eager to have my brother back out in regular civilization. I would like to take him under my wing, and I'm an automotive tech. I would like to help him learn a trade, or help him find a trade that he wishes. I want to help him get back on track on life. It's very hard to for his unfortunate situations that I feel should have never happened. I feel he was maybe a slightly alone, or just in other words, I wish I could have been there more as an older brother as well. But like I said, I would love to have him back out here and to help him progress himself as a young man to a mature adult. Yes, Your Honor. I'm just very hopeful today.
Okay, I appreciate those comments. Miss Sonia Munez, your mother? We can't hear you, Miss Munez.
Okay, now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, I speak a little bit English, not much. I don't know if you want my daughter to translate me when I want to say to you.
That's up to you. If you think you can explain it, that's fine. If you want an interpreter, you can have one.
Okay, okay, I try to do, that I have been waiting for this moment, thinking in advance that my son, can obtain obtain parole. I miss my son a lot, he's my youngest, son. Um, I can't wait, I cannot wait, get my family together again. It's Christopher, I'm Christopher Mother. I know that is capable of going out and facing life out there. Working hard to demonstrate to everyone and mailing to himself that he's capable of getting ahead with his life.
Okay, thank you. And you did that very well, by the way. I understand.
I try.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Randall Myers.
Good afternoon, Randall Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. We're strongly opposed to Mr. Muniz's request. He was 18 years old when he committed this crime. The child was 12. It's not like she was 16, close in age to him. She was 6 years younger than him, just a child. And there's no excuse for something like that. He has a moderate risk assessment, high for antisocial thinking, substance abuse, mental health and depression, education, and total needs. He was given a break in this case, as you noted, that he was placed on probation, but then revoked because of an additional offense in Orleans Parish. Only programs he's taken: Louisiana Risk Management Phase 1 and a Job Skills Program. I believe this is his third parole hearing. In both of his other parole hearings, I opposed him in part because he had no sex offender treatment. He still has had no sex offender treatment. We're strongly opposed to his request for parole. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Myers. All right, well, now I will ask you a few questions, Mr. Munez, since I was assigned your case.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Munez. As Mr. Myers pointed out, she was 12. You had no idea she was 12?
No, sir. When she was with the female that I went to school with, when she had told me she was 18, I really didn't think much of the situation because I didn't fully evaluate the situation myself in order to see that the girl was the age of 12. And that's why I went wrong at.
Okay, did you know her before this, the victim?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay. According to the arrest reports, they claim that your sister called the victim and asked her not to wanting her to lie. Is that true? How would she get her number if you didn't know her?
I'm not sure, sir. I don't want to lie to you. I'm not sure at all.
Okay. And about the dog, where did the gun come from?
The gun, I had bought it from somebody on the streets.
All right. And I understand that the dogs were attacking your dog and then they were going to attack you and you shot them, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you on any kind of drugs? Have you ever taken any kind of drugs?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Do they offer sex offender treatment in Morehouse Parish?
No, sir.
Have you ever been any place where they offered the sex offender treatment?
No, sir, not at all. I took a sex offender class when I was on probation at the DMV.
Correct. You used to have to go once a month, probably?
I think every Wednesday.
Yes, correct. Okay. And what did you learn from that class?
From the sex offender class,
Mm-hmm.
how to make sure that I anybody that I'm dealing with under any circumstance, make sure I evaluate the person thoroughly. Always make sure that the person is the age that she says she is. Always make sure that she is a grown person, you know, and always making sure that I never surround myself in a. It goes like as far as like me making sure that I never put myself in a bad environment or anywhere to risk my life for freedom when it comes to anybody that's a female, you know, and it's been very complicated. I'll never make the same mistake again. It's never happened again, and it never will happen again.
Okay, you had 1 period of probation. Of course, that was revoked for your new offense. Well, where are you going to work if you get out?
Well, I'll be working in New Orleans furniture with a family friend named AJ. He actually has a job for me at assembling furniture at his warehouse. And in my free time, I'll be working with my sister, setting up events.
Okay. All right. And who are you going to reside with? I think you said you were homeless at the time. That's okay. You were at home. Okay. All right. So who are you going to reside with?
I'll be residing by myself at 2201 Breckenridge Drive, Harvey, Louisiana.
Okay. We have no opposition from the victim because we were unable to locate her, and or her mother, because she is still a minor. So we tried to contact the mother. Also, the owner of the dog, we were unable to contact him. Okay, I have no further questions for him. Do either one of my board members have any questions, my fellow board members?
I don't have any.
Mr. Prater?
How long have you been in jail?
3 years.
3 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's a total of 3 years for having sex with a 12-year-old, shooting 2 dogs, and being told not to have a firearm, but you went ahead and had one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Okay, is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be voting first, Mr. Munez, because I've been assigned your case. I listened to you, and I think you have a lot of potential in your life. I really do. But you know, it is fact, like the sheriff said, you received 5 years for 2 very, very heinous offenses. I mean, and you had a gun. That's the other thing that really concerns me. You had a gun and you were on probation at that time. So my vote today will be to deny, but I will also recommend that we get you somewhere where sex offender treatment, they have it. And as soon as you complete the treatment, you can reapply.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Renatza?
I do agree. I'm concerned for all the same reasons that's been stated, both by Mr. Prater and Mr. Freeman. And so my vote today is to deny with the recommendation that you be given the opportunity to do the sex offender treatment to get you moved somewhere that offers it.
Yes, ma'am.
My vote also is to deny. Mine is also to deny. A big thing is that you were told when you got a real break on the sex with a 12-year-old, you were told you can't have a gun.
Yes, sir.
Yet you went out and got a gun. You got to learn to abide by the rules like the rest of us.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Good luck.
Okay. Today, Mr. Munez, your parole has been denied. Mr. Munez, I'm telling you, get your head straight. I think you can have a good life. You're a very young man, but you also are a second offender.
Yes, sir.
Just remember that, okay?
Yes,
So
sir.
good luck to you. Your parole has been denied today.
Alright.
We are closing out from Morehouse Parish at 12:05.